Hey, g'day. So today I think it's day 7 in the cabin, and I'm settling in pretty well here. I'm having a pretty good time. I'm just about to write a song, and I decided to boil the kettle and have a pot of tea. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I just started playing something and something came out straight away, so got the kernel of something ready to rock. And I'm not really sure what to talk about in these daily journal video things. I decided to do them, but I had no idea what I was going to talk about. And so this song I just started writing, the first line that came out was "Stand up from your desk." So I've just been thinking about and writing a little bit about how I started doing music full time. So I did it, from the age I was 11. Just, did it as something I loved doing, and didn't really start doing it full time until I was about 29. It's actually when I came here. That was at the very beginning of that journey. So I kind of want to talk about that a bit, because I guess there are some people that know me and they know my journey. There are lots of people I've met since I started doing this full time who probably don't really know my journey. They just know, oh yeah, Mijo is a musician dude doing his thing. So this can be a really long story, but I'm going to try and keep it short, but it's just a long story. It just is. Unless I just said, yeah, well, one day I decided to do it and I quit my job and started doing it. That's the short story. That's what happened. But I guess I want to talk about the difficulty of it and why I didn't do it earlier, because now that I am doing it and I've been doing it for years, the question for me is, why didn't I do it earlier? Why did I wait till I was 29 to do it? Because I started playing guitar when I was 11, and I feel like I pretty much knew, maybe when I was like 16 or 17 or 18, I started to think, I really love doing this. I would love to do this forever. But at that time, I didn't really think you could do it. There were people, I was listening to lots of music and loving music, and there were people obviously doing it, but I guess the thought that prevented me from doing it was, this is not something that I can do. This is only something that some particular special people can do, and MTV decides who they are, and that's not really my place. My place is to continue growing up in a country town and just try and get through high school if you can, because your parents really want you to, and then after that get a good job because your parents really want you to. That was kind of the extent of the power of my dreams, was to just get through being a teenager and don't kill yourself and don't kill anyone else. That was sort of... Anyway, so when it came to after school, deciding what to do after I finished high school, I wanted to do music. I really wanted to do music. 2 of my friends from high school that I played music with were doing that. They were going off to study music. And when I was filling out, my preference form of what I wanted to do, I decided to write down graphic design and building design, because these 2 things felt like they were almost like a real career, and that my parents would be cool with that. But I also had music down, and at the last minute I changed and I took music off the list. And even as I'm telling this story, I'm getting a bit emotional thinking about what an insane error that was. But, you know, whatever. Life has panned out beautifully. But just thinking about that shift, that change at the last minute. And it was due to not feeling that I had the approval from my parents to do it. And that really mattered, you know. I really love my parents, and you know, like lots of kids, I wanted to please my parents. I wanted them to be happy. So anyway, that's what happened, right? So I went off and I studied building design and drafting, and I got a job doing that, and then I did that for 8 years. And the entire time I continued to play music and actually really passionately got into writing songs when I was about 21. Started playing in a band around that same time, maybe 2002. Lamplight, which was an awesome band. I loved being in that band, really awesome musicians, really awesome people, had lots of really fun times. Some challenging times, but that's what you get in a band. It's like marrying 5 people, being in a marriage with 5 people. But it still never felt like I could do it full time. And there was always a couple of thoughts in my mind that were holding me back, like, okay, yeah, you could quit your job and do what? Like, just be a bearded weirdo playing folk music and just go broke and get depressed? Is that your plan? But I decided to stay in my job, and it was for security. It's to get a paycheck and to get a pat on my back from my parents and my family. And but what I was giving up was who I really was deep down. I had to suppress that every day that I went to work. I had to pretend I was something else. And I felt almost for a decade like a shell of a man, like a robot just showing up and doing some stuff. But it was a really hard existence. And I remember thinking, I'm just gonna, you know, this is okay. I'll just do this, you know, it's fine. I'm doing music on the side. But I had to get very real with myself. And at one point, the sadness and the pain became so strong that I had to get real with myself and say, this is not just okay. This is disgusting. This is a violation of who I am as a person, of what I am here to actually give to the world. At that time, I wasn't even really cracking the lid on my creativity. I was sitting in front of a computer for 8 to 10 hours a day drawing straight lines. And I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, what I was really here for. And that sadness, and that frustration could not be held down any longer, basically. Especially when I got very real with myself as to how upsetting it was. And just thinking, are you telling me I have to do this for the next 40 years and then I'm going to die? I'm going to die depressed and sad and feel like I didn't give who I was to the world? That I'm going to rob myself and the world of who I am and who I was just because I want a fucking paycheck and a pat on the back from my parents? So, I got really focused and really determined, like this white hot focus. And I remember sitting at my desk just thinking, how the fuck did I get here? How the fuck did I get here? If it was all of my own decisions leading me to this place, why am I so sad and depressed? And can I start making new decisions about what I want to do with my life and get me going on a new path? And so I stood up from my computer and I walked straight out of the office and I went down to this park nearby. And I sat on this table with my feet on the bench, on the seat. And I basically, I kind of sat there muttering to myself for about an hour. I must have looked like a crazy person. And I get the people, I was gone for a long time. And I guess the people in my office must have thought, where did Folk Boy go? He really left in a huff. I wonder where he is. So I was down the road having this intense mental breakthrough, where I was deciding, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I really want, this is how I'm going to do it, this is when it's going to happen. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking do this. I'm not wasting another day. And so I spent the next week kind of processing this information. And then I walked into work and I quit on the spot and I just said, I'm kind of done here. Even though I'd worked with this company for 8 years, I was just like, it's been great, but I'm done. I separated from my partner of 7-8 years. I packed my house up. I said goodbye to my friends. I bought a ticket to Berlin. I removed myself from the bands that I was playing in, that I loved playing in. And within a month, I was in Berlin. And I didn't really have a plan except if I can just do a couple of gigs a week to just cover my rent and maybe some of the money I've borrowed from the bank will last me for a little while, and then maybe I'll have to work something out. And then it went from that to, if I just got a couple more gigs a week, now I'm covering my rent. And then I thought, I wonder if I could go and do a solo tour of Europe. And I wonder if I could make money doing that. So I ended up doing a tour of 43 cities in 43 days. And it was a really intense tour. But I bought a car and I came back to Berlin with enough money to pay rent for a couple of months. And my eyes really started to open to the possibilities of like, this is how you do it. You do the thing you love and you get it out in front of people. And you have to work your ass off. But you can do the thing you love and it can sustain you so that you can continue doing the thing you love, which is opposite to the paradigm I was living in, which is do something you hate to then be depleted and exhausted and then buy some shit and get drunk every Friday night. Make sure you get wasted because you're stressed out in a job you don't like. And then go back to the job you hate to sustain that lifestyle. So it was a very different paradigm that I'd moved myself into. And on that tour, there were 2 instances where I woke up because I was laughing so much. And it was the first time in my life that it ever happened. It happened twice on that tour. And it just proved to me that I was in the right place, doing the right thing. That playing my music and sharing my music and myself with the world and sharing the messages of my music with the world, it gave me such deep joy inside like nothing I had ever experienced before. And I think it was really at that moment, even though I was already doing the music thing for about a year full time, it was really at that moment where I was like, this is what I'm doing. This is who I am. I think that's when I really fully committed myself to the idea that I was going to do this forever. And also in that first, 6 to 12 months of doing it was when I toured all over Europe with Claire Bowditch and with Tommy Emmanuel and Missy Higgins and with ℾ𝒿ℴ and all of this stuff. And I had a booking agent who was lining up showcase gigs for me, and I had someone booking my tours. Someone wanted to record with me for free. He arranged this villa, a ballroom in a villa in Berlin. And I think I paid him some money to hire a bit of gear, but all this stuff mountains just started to shift. Things just started to move once I made that full commitment to just totally commit, just go all out, just fucking go for it. And looking back, it was scary, and it took a long time to get me to that point to just fucking go for it. But when I did, everything shifted. Everything just rushed to help me. The universe rushed to support me. It was really incredible. So, it's a long story, right? There's a lot to it. There's a lot I've left out. So, I guess the message of the story is, if you're an artist or a musician or whatever it is you do, if you're a massage therapist or whatever you love to do, the thing that really just floats your boat, whatever the fuck that thing is, work out in the next month everything you need to do to just fucking leap. To just get out of whatever you're doing right now and just fucking leap. Just decide, I'm gonna fucking do this. And get rid of all of your plan Bs. Because there was an opportunity when I moved to Berlin to do some drafting. I actually had a job interview and they offered me a job. And I said no, because I decided that if I had a plan B, plan A would never go into effect. So don't have a plan B. Just create a plan A and say, this is the gold standard. This is all I'm willing to accept. I'm not going to accept anything other than this. And then just leap, and the net will appear. The net will rush under you, and it'll bounce you back up. So that's my little pitch to convince you to listen to that voice inside of you that's now saying, I really like what he's saying. And there's another point, the voice is going to say, yeah, but you can't really do that. You fucking can do it.